Where were you when you heard the news? Where were you? Who were you before and who were you after the news dropped? I am speaking about the DoorDash x Klarna collaboration. Now you can pay for your burrito in 4 payments. After the food has been digested and disappeared out of your entire system, you will still be paying for that meal. Hello everybody and welcome back to my YouTube channel, and if this is your first time here, hello, welcome. This is Social Patience and I am Patience, and on this channel we have conversations about society's impacts on our lives and our finances and how we can take back that power and make more intentional decisions for our lives. The news that rocked the world: you can use a form of afterpay on DoorDash, which was Klarna. If you don't know what Klarna is, you might know one of its evil siblings. But if you don't know any of them, congratulations. I've done a video previously on buy now, pay later, and I don't think I mentioned Klarna in that video, but I did mention, I think, Afterpay or Affirm or one of those. That's one of the devils in disguise. You've probably seen it when you're shopping online, and it'll say, do you want to pay for this in 4 interest-free payments or installments? And then you're probably like, why would I want to do that? I'm purchasing something for $20. I'm going to pay for a 4-month period. No, thank you. Or at least I hope you don't. But there's some people who love it. Some people depend on it way too much, and others have fallen so hard that they are literally in so much debt. But this was a lot on shopping, like discretionary spending items, but now it is coming to DoorDash, which you can also buy groceries, but typically most people use it for unnecessary food, in my opinion. Or when you feel too lazy to cook, you order something on DoorDash or Uber Eats. And Klarna and DoorDash partnered up. I will reserve my personal opinions for later, but let's see what other people have to say, because it's interesting. Please know that I'm merely reacting to what people are saying. I don't know these people. I'm agreeing or disagreeing with their opinion, not the person. I don't know them.
Und was ist mit J-Lo? Die kenne ich nicht. Oops.
Let's start with the first video.
DoorDash and Klarna partnership lets you buy now and pay later for your favorite meals. So I'll give you 3 things about this. Thing number 1. When gluttony and debt hook up, you know it's going to be a party. The last thing I want to do is be lecturing people about their spending habits during late-stage capitalism, but bruh, if you got to split up a meal between 4 payments, just walk to the grocery store. Thing number 2, DoorDash is expensive as it is, with the delivery fees, tipping the driver, and the random fees they just throw at you for good measure. You can easily pay $40 for a $15 sandwich. I know because I've done it before, and I know you have too. Thing number 3, this is a recession indicator if I've ever seen one. Both these companies see the writing on the wall. They see that inflation combined with what Trump is doing to the economy is going to make it harder and harder for the average person to afford the basics. The media and the Federal Reserve only call it a recession after the fact to make sure you and I are the last people to know.
I've seen a lot of people call it a recession indicator, and I'm not sure if I fully agree with it. Most people on DoorDash are not purchasing groceries. I'm sorry, it's just not it. I've not seen any data that shows that a lot of people on DoorDash are just purchasing the basic. Most people are there to purchase food they can get cheaper at the grocery store. Most of us, including I, have used food delivery services. And yes, I've purchased groceries on there. And actually, that's probably the majority of mine. But I know that it's because it's an anomaly for me to purchase anything on there in general. So do you see the difference? A lot of people who are chronically using this, who are already going into debt, this is just a new form of debt for them to go into. If somebody is not going into debt already for this credit card debt, because that's how a lot of people are paying for it, food delivery apps, then they're not going to get into as much debt with buy now, pay later. It's not going to be like, oh, now all of a sudden I can do this. Well, some it will be, but I think for most people who are already financially conscious, this is not going to be a new hack for them, because it's going to catch up with you. You can stop paying your credit card and the debt is still there, but they're not going to take it. With buy now, pay later, the way I understand is that they take it directly from your account, so that money is going to come out one way or another. It's just that you're delaying the payment, but it's still like 4 payments. I think I've seen 10 payments, but they're getting their money within like the year. So let's move on to the next video.
Did you guys see this Klarna DoorDash deal? You can put your food on a payment plan now. That's insane.
Oh yeah, I'm all over that. I've been using it all week.
What?
Yeah, Sam, I'm on a 6-month payment plan for the coffee I had this morning.
You guys are going in debt for a $20 food order. You know that, right?
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm ordering Chipotle. It's only $2 up front. Does anyone want in?
Yeah, add me on that.
Guys,
Oh, so it's saying I owe $30K and miss my payments. Now I have late fees and they might send me to debt collections?
Yeah, I got that too.
Oh wait, hold on. There's a deal to pay for it. I can either go to debtor's prison or do a Mr. Beast video. Well, I'm not insane, just prison, obviously.
I can either let them garnish my wages or give them my firstborn, which my firstborn might suck, so that's less of a risk.
Okay, wait, now it's saying if I fistfight the DoorDash driver, I can win and pass the debt on to them.
It's a good deal.
Are you serious?
Order for Meg?
Alright, close up.
Okay, this is obviously a skip, but there is some truth to that about late fees. Some people think it's interest free, but not everything is interest free, and there are late payments, and the percentages on those are large because a lot of people are not purchasing $5,000 worth of stuff at once. So when you're missing payments and the missed payments, you might get like a $10, $15, $20 late fee. That adds up quickly, and that's how they're making their money. They are making money somehow, and in this thing about debtors prison and stuff like that, I'm not sure, but previously a lot of buy now pay later was not reported on your credit score, but there was a report that came out saying that now it will be. It will take some time for it to be reflected, but there will be some checking credit scores and there will be some reported on your credit report. The comment said predatory lending at its finest. I will agree with that. There is a level of free will that a lot of us will talk about, but even with that, as a society, we need regulation. But some people will be like, well, it's my right and I should be able to do it, and if I can do it and use it in its proper form versus somebody who can, then what is then my problem? Should I not be able to use it because somebody else can't control themselves? So there is that conversation to be had. Someone said, can we use that to build credit score? Honest question. I wouldn't use this to build credit score. And credit score, it has become a way of people justifying going into debt and taking on more debt to build their credit score. No, be financially mindful and actually build wealth and build your savings and build wealth rather than focusing too much on your credit score. Credit score has never taken somebody through retirement. It's a person, I'd rather have a bad credit score and millions of dollars for retirement than to end up in retirement with $100,000 and an 800 credit score. What's that gonna do for you? For at least for a while. Let's move on to the next video. These are fun.
Babe, wake up. A new late-stage capitalism financial service just dropped. If getting guac on your bowl from Chipotle has become such a serious financial decision that this is a real consideration, we have failed as a society. I can't believe these companies saw the memes people made about jokingly paying the fourth installment of the vodka cran they got at the bar last week, or the latte they got from Starbucks, and thought to themselves, hold on a minute. The real question that needs to be asked is who benefits the most from this partnership between DoorDash and a buy now pay later company like Klarna? And the answer is obvious. Klarna is going to IPO this month at an expected valuation of $15 billion. The entire buy now pay later market, Affirm, Sezzle, Klarna, Afterpay, whatever, is valued at over $230 billion. 20% of Americans have already used one of these services, the vast majority of the people using this service having bad or low credit scores, aka already being in debt. All these companies do is artificially inflate consumer spending so the top line of the economy looks good when in reality 90% of people are drowning. This isn't even just an American problem. This is a global problem. This is a crisis. There are some legitimate use cases for buy now, pay later products. Like if your laptop breaks and you need it to work, that makes sense. But you shouldn't ever need a product or service like this to get your $5 Subway sandwich. And because buy now, pay later debt isn't reported or recorded by credit agencies, this phantom debt goes completely unaccounted for. The popularity of these types of services is not indicative of an economy that is doing well. It is an indicator that the economy is cratering towards debt disaster and pushing all of the burden further and further onto the people who can least afford it. I can't remember such a brazen example of the rich getting richer by taking money directly out of the pockets of normal people. This is not an attack on people who feel like there is no alternative but to use these kinds of products and services. This is a direct attack on the people who force and create these products and services to keep the money machine going.
And that's the thing, there's a demand for it, unfortunately. And as much as people are making memes about it, someone saw it and thought this would actually be a hit. And they were right, because people are actually using this. I've been monitoring it. That's why I wanted to see how people react to it when the announcements came out. And I was shocked as how many people actually admitted to using it. It's crazy. It's absolutely crazy. As I stated before, most people are not purchasing groceries and then doing buy now, pay later. They're not like new people who are like, oh, I couldn't afford groceries, but I'm going to use it now. No, a lot of the people are buying items that you can go without. Ultra processed foods. Eating out. Eating out is a luxury. It's an affordable luxury. Going to a grocery store, purchasing food, no matter how expensive you think the grocery store is, it will always be cheaper than purchasing food food that is already cooked by somebody else and being delivered to you. Pay for delivery and tip the driver. It's more. It's way more. A simple order can cost you $40, and that food will last you, what, maybe a day, maybe two if you're lucky. But if you're going to the grocery store, $40 is enough to actually prep an entire meal that will last you several more days. Even if you go to a grocery store and it's $150 per week, that is for breakfast, lunch, dinner. And that's a lot of money, by the way, for one person to spend on groceries versus the food you get in a restaurant. $150 is what, maybe 5 different $30 meals. And then you talk about the quality of food you're getting. And this conversation just goes downhill. And that's why it's important as people to be educated about finances and to make better financial choices for ourselves. So many people are drowning in debt. And while it's not being reported on your credit report, it doesn't mean that debt does not exist. Let's move on to the next video.
Now, DoorDash is going to let y'all pay with Klarna. Stupid. That's right. It's plain and simple. The headline says it all, man. You can buy that McDonald's and you can pay it off in 4 easy installments. So if you want to get a number 5, but that check ain't hit yet, just get it, Klarna that and make sure you pay it off when you get paid.
So what you gonna be paying $4.99 for a sandwich a week? Yeah, I gotta pay for the sandwich I had last week.
I can imagine being a young teen. You know how it is when you're young, get your first job, you spend all your money and you want something, but back in the day, you know, something like a cheeseburger, you couldn't Klarna that, so you had to ask to borrow $1 too, so you go get something $1 menu.
You asking to be put in debt if you apply for this Klarna. Bruh, I wish I would eat something today and pay for that next week. You got me up.
I can definitely see teenagers doing this.
This is stupid.
It is.
It's
teenagers
dumb.
are stupid.
That's true.
I do not know what percentage of this clip will end up in my video because they were cursing a lot of curse on my channel. The sentiment is real, and they brought up a good point about targeting teenagers. I had my first job at 16 years old, and the way I budgeted and spread that money for a long time, but I did notice that a lot of my colleagues spent their money as it came in, and so a lot of teenagers will fall for this trap. Unfortunately, I would understand if it was a medical bill that you had and be like, okay, 4 payments or something that was very essential, but this is going to be used and abused by a lot of people who are already in a lot of debt, who are already bad with money, and especially teenagers. Unfortunately, this will probably be their first run-in with a lot of debt before they even get a credit card. Next video.
You know those TV ads we used to see at 2 a.m.? Do you need money fast for that extra guac? Call 1-800-FOOD NOW. That's what this sounds like to me. We cannot start going into debt over a burrito. DoorDash and Klarna are teaming up so you can essentially put your food on layaway. During the Great Depression, when people were having a hard time making ends meet, stores started offering layaway so people could pay in installments to hold an item. You want a dress you can't afford, you'd open up a layaway plan, pay for it over time, and once you finally paid the full amount, you could take possession of the dress. These programs largely disappeared in the 80s with the rise of credit cards, but now we have the worst of both worlds. With Buy Now, Pay Later, you can take possession of your item today like you would with a credit card, so you feel little to no urgency to fulfill paying your bill. But also, since it's more of a layaway plan, you wouldn't get any of the benefits or protections that you would normally get with a credit card either. While these companies are marketing this as a convenience, it's really just predatory. And I don't even want this to be entirely negative. At one point, Buy Now, Pay Later programs were a lifeline to communities that couldn't access credit in more traditional ways. It helped people get pricier items that they couldn't afford to pay for all at once, things like furniture, home appliances, tech, tools for work. But financing every little thing in your life, not just the bigger purchases, essentially tricks you into thinking you have more money than you actually do. And that leads to the temptation of buying more stuff than you need, increases your risk of debt, defaulted payments, and lowers your credit score. Net, I love delivery just as much as the next person, probably more, but if you can't afford it in one go, you can't afford it.
Do you know how hard it is to track your expenses when you just have a little teeny tiny bit of money just being taken away? Whenever I purchase something, I always come home and then I track it in my expenses. Now imagine if I'm just having these random payments come out. I'm like, wait, what was this for? This is 1/4 of the payments for the dress I bought last week. This is 1/4 for the dinner I purchased last week. This is 1/5 of the vacation I took 2 months ago. This is the last payment of the cell phone I bought 5 months ago. Like, do you know what of a mess that is financially? That is a mess. It is. To have all these random payments coming out of your bank accounts and you don't even know, you don't even remember. 4 months later, do you remember what you did it for? I even track my expenses on spreadsheets. The average person doesn't. So I might remember, but you probably wouldn't. So this is going to be a financial mess. People are going to think they have way more money than they actually do because they're going to get paid. They're going to see all that money in their bank account. And then all these payments are going to come out. You're going to be like, wait, what was that? What was that? What was that? And this is predatory lending because in the moment, a lot of people are not thinking long term. And as she said, for big purchases such as furniture and other bigger gadgets, I still don't think you should do it, but it's understandable. To do it on such tiny, minuscule things that you don't need, that is diabolical. It really is. And I am familiar with back in the day layaway plan where people would purchase things after they've been able to have all the payments versus today it's about instant gratification, impulse purchasing. And they know that. They know that if they rather said, would you like to purchase this after making 4 payments? So you will get it after you've made those 4 payments. A lot of people will first of all not get the instant gratification they get from impulse purchasing. They will forget about it. They probably wouldn't want the stuff once they pay for it because the trend will be over, or that dopamine feel they feel from buying it, they will be over it and on to the next. So they know exactly what they are doing. It is a form of predatory lending, just like its third cousin of payday loans and what payday loans have even become today. I see this comment of someone say it's only bad if you're getting charged interest. You usually get 0 APR if you do on-time payments. Some people don't make enough in the time frame till their next paycheck, so they are breaking the payments down, and it helps. That is a slippery slope, and that's why an emergency fund is very important. Over 50% Americans don't have $1,000 saved up, and about 25% don't even have $500. So we can see it right now. If you need that for small payments, we are not in a good place. And it's not just because of income. It's not just because of inflation. It's also because of overconsumption in our community and in our country. Let's move on to the next video.
We have a serious problem. People are starting to cook their own meals at home. They're buying groceries, they're meal prepping. It's starting to spiral out of control and really impact our business. I think I've got an idea. Hear me out, okay? What if we let people buy tacos today, but we let them pay us back in installments spread out over 6 months? So you want people to go into debt over tacos? Why not? Debt is a very good thing, by the way. Debt is what built this country. Do you think the railroads were paid for up front? No, they were financed. The same thing should go for burrito bowls. You want people to finance their late night cravings? Yes, we need people to keep ordering food even if it bankrupts them. Don't get me wrong, it sounds like a really good idea, but what about consumer protection laws? Buddy, I own the laws. Okay, how does this sound? DoorDash now, declare bankruptcy later. That has a nice jingle to it. Honestly, while we're at it, why don't we let them spread their payments out over 30 years like student loans? Now you're thinking like a banker. We're turning hunger into leverage. This is beautiful. I like it.
Okay, this is another skit. Sometimes there's truth in satire, and obviously this is one of them. Cooking at home will always be cheaper. I feel like I have to keep saying this to people who refuse to believe it because they're being sold this lie of the groceries so expensive, eggs, the price of eggs. Where do you think the restaurants are getting their eggs from? A special place? They're not going to upcharge you when they know how much eggs cost in the grocery store. I've never eaten out and thought this is so much cheaper than cooking at home. Every time I eat out, I know I can make that meal at home for much cheaper. And even beyond that, it's also health. We live in a gluttonous country. A lot of people are overeating. And it's a thing, yes, overeating, over snacking. And so even though people talk about how their groceries are going up, when you look through their groceries, it's a bunch of junk in there. A bunch of junk food, ultra processed foods, candy, chips, cookies, cakes, and donuts that don't give you any type of nutritional values. When you're able to take those out and rather funnel that money towards quality food, and I'm talking about real food, not only will you be benefiting health-wise, you're going to benefit from the future of that, which is that you're not going to be struggling with a whole lot of food-related illnesses that is literally ruining this country. The percentage of obesity among adults and children has skyrocketed. The amount of food-related deaths, preventable diabetes is up. So we have to fight back. Even if our government is not protecting us, this is the time where unfortunately we're going to have to use our individual free will educate the people in our lives and make better decisions and let them know that this is not okay. Even if they bring out products like this, we should not use it. Let's go to the next video.
You know, we're definitely looking at the collapse of the American empire if DoorDash is now offering buy now, pay later payment plans for their food with Klarna.
I can't eat! I'm broke! And you got the power to change that, Kev! Nobody else! You!
Y'all can let Republicans and Trumpers and people gaslight you all you want into believing that the economy is getting better and that the price of eggs are going down. When people can't afford to pay $30 for an average takeout meal, Klarna is partnering with DoorDash. Imagine paying 4 monthly installments for a burrito. And by no means am I talking shit about people who are going to do this. That's just showing you the state of the economy. And what else is the American way? Like saying, oh, you can't eat because of recession? Let's not create more jobs and give you more money. Let's give you a way to go into more debt. There's no reason that Klarna and DoorDash would sit down and have meeting after meeting after meeting to make this an official partnership if there wasn't going to be a demand for it. So now you're going to be paying for your Cheesecake Factory takeout along with your Fashion Nova order, along with your Shein order.
Excuse me, I'm out of here right now.
This was not on my bingo card today. I mean, every day I wake up and I say, what else can happen? And if this is not the indicator that the recession is here and the recession is with us now, you're in denial, buddy. You're in denial. You're in denial.
I do agree with some parts of what he said, but not all. Ordering from Shein is not a necessity, Fashion Nova, and it shows that our priorities are in the wrong places too. Yes, there are people who are actually struggling and there are people who are living paycheck to paycheck because they budgeted and they have no space in their budget for the bare necessities and they're actually working. We also have to understand things that are happening and have nuanced conversation and not blame everything on one. There are some people who are underemployed. There are some people who don't want to work, okay? They don't want to work. And we're very lucky to live in a country where even if you don't work, you can receive some form of assistance. A lot of countries don't have that benefit at all. If you don't work, you just don't eat. We also have a country that has food banks. We also have to be appreciative of that. Now, it's not everywhere and it's not as widespread as it should be. But we also have to be truthful and admit that we live in a country where everyone is over-consuming. At minimum, 90% of the population over-consumes in some way, shape, or form. We have an excess of too much stuff that are not needed for life. And we still do it because we want to. There are people with $1,000 cell phones talking about they can afford groceries. You think that $1,000 cell phone is a necessity? And then when you talk about it, like, well, what are you saying? I shouldn't be able to have a cell phone? I shouldn't have a cell phone? Nobody's saying you can't have a cell phone. But did you have to buy the most expensive cell phone in the world? Probably not. So several things can be true at the same time. It could be that the economy is bad and you're still purchasing from Shein and Fashion Nova and all this fast fashion that you don't need. That is ruining your finances. I have yet to meet a person whose budget was so good that I said you were doing 100% right and yet you don't have any margin. And working full time, by the way. Most people, there's always something that you can do. We have to have solutions and we have to look on what we are personally doing and how we can better our own situation because help is not coming for free. So we have to make a way. Let's move on to the next video.
So DoorDash is partnered with Klarna and they're now offering buy now, pay later for their food deliveries. And this is honestly something that's really frustrating because they're taking advantage of consumer behavior. I mean, I love tech news. I have a podcast on it, but every once in a while, there's stories that drop that are just really unethical. And the reason why this is so unethical is because buy now, pay later really feeds consumerism. With this partnership, they're really looking to do two things. The first is increase revenue, and then the second thing is customer acquisition. They're looking to tap into a new type of customer. They're trying to find the consumers that actually can't afford conveniences like DoorDash. It makes sense because honestly, with this option, when you check out for dinner, instead of paying $40 for a meal, you're paying $10 for a meal. So it really feels like you're not paying $40, but in actuality, you're paying $40 over time. Don't get me wrong, financing is a really good thing for consumers if done properly. For example, you can finance your car or your mattress. These are really big purchases that give you value over time, so it makes sense to spread this amount that you have to pay over time. Americans are not really good with their money. They live paycheck to paycheck. They don't know how to save. But especially when you're thinking about big purchases, having monthly installments can be way easier to plan for rather than one big purchase at one time. Plus, the other thing is you're not going to take advantage of financing. So you're not going to buy 5 mattresses or 5 couches. You're only going to buy one and how much you need. But when you apply financing to things like fashion purchases or food deliveries, things that you're supposed to pay off within a month, it starts to become really easy to stack up these orders and purchases. For example, 10 meals or 10 hoodies. And then you're left in debt because you're trying to pay for these meals that you ate like 3 months ago. Because 3 months ago, when you saw only the $10 purchase price, you really thought you could afford it when you actually can't. So these companies are making you think you can buy more, which makes you check out more. Anyways, please do not use this option when you're checking out for DoorDash. It's a really bad idea. It might seem great at the time, but trust me, just pay for that meal when you check out.
So true. Americans are bad with money. I said that previously. I'm not going to repeat everything. Whatever type of debt product comes in, there's always a target audience. And with market research and information gathering and data gathering and data selling, they know exactly who their target audience is. Food delivery services are affordable luxuries. And I don't say this to say you don't deserve to go and have a nice meal out. You do, but it's an affordable luxury. It's the same thing as getting your nails done. I don't have my nails done right now. It's not because I don't feel like I deserve it, but because I know it's an affordable luxury. The same goes to getting my hair done. I do my hair most of the time. I go to the salon maybe 1 to 3 times a year. Does that mean I don't think I deserve it? I know it's not a right. It's an affordable luxury. And I know if I go enough times, I will be going into debt for something that is not a necessity in my life. And when it comes to food, we're a little sensitive about it because we're like, wait, you don't think I deserve to eat? I need food to live. But you don't need DoorDash to live. You need food, like food from the grocery store to cook. And you're like, well, I can't cook, or I don't have time to cook. If you don't have time to cook, are you working? What are you doing with your time? Are you working 40 hours a week like most people? Well, then you have to just find time to cook because most people work 40 hours or more and they still find time to cook. The most amounts I've worked in a week was like 84 hours. And guess what? I still cooked. There was a whole like almost 2-month period where I was working anywhere from like 55 to 60 hours a week. And I still cook. I was working every day and I still cooked because I understood that if I was relying on takeout, so much of my finances would be drained that way. And all the money I was making from working so much will literally be spent on food. Just not worth it. Let's watch our next video.
Klarna announces they have signed DoorDash as a partner. Customers can opt to split payments into 4 equal interest-free installments or defer them to match their payday schedule. A lot of people are upset about this. I keep seeing a lot of people talk about financial literacy and, good money management and all this other stuff. Listen, if you down this bad, financial literacy is not going to help you. We are way beyond that. Go ahead and split that DoorDash payment. Everything on DoorDash ends up being $75 anyway. Why wouldn't you split those payments up? Pay it in 4. If you need some extra help, download the Zip app. Zip has a pay-in-store option, so you can use that to buy groceries. Don't let these finance gurus trick you out of a good time. You see, this administration is cutting all the programs. Klarna and Afterpay and Zip and PayPal paying for and Affirm is all we have. And I hope it doesn't stop at DoorDash. I want to split the whole planet up in 4.
I hope this is satire. Let me see the description. It says, if you want to pay for your DoorDash in installment, oh my goodness, it said things on DoorDash end up being $75. You're actually ordering food for $75 and you're talking about you can't afford the price of eggs. You mean a carton of eggs that's like $5 to $8? That's like a dozen and a half or 2 dozen. I didn't know y'all were having a good time out here like that. No. Financial gurus have seen too much of everything to let people just go down this way. And I don't consider myself a financial guru, but I do consider myself a financial enthusiast. And I'm going to say this, I have seen so much bad examples that I just can't go down with at least telling you. So you won't be like, nobody told me. Well, I'm telling you, this is bad. And the good time is not going to last long because when you're deep in debt, after already having auto loan debt, student loan debt that you already complain about, but you have no problem going into more debt for other things and all your credit card debt, personal loan debt, and no money for retirement, just know that was the retirement. The DoorDash, Klarna, collaboration that is making people spend way more than they can actually afford to have a good time. That's your retirement fund. You're eating it. Let's watch one last video because there's some updates. And I'm glad I waited because this is great.
The company that lets you take a loan out to buy a burrito from Taco Bell has just announced that their losses in Q1 of this year have doubled after $136 million in customer debts when unpaid. If you don't remember Klarna, they're the company that came out a few weeks ago saying they partnered with DoorDash so you can take a loan out to get your Taco Bell and you can pay it in 4 easy installments of like $3 a month. So their Q1 results, their January, February, March, from this year compared to last year, they have lost an extra $50 million, and the customer credit losses have now gone up by 17%. Not to mention that, but also at their Monday earnings call, their CEO came out as an AI-generated avatar, and they said they have bet heavily on artificial intelligence, and they are using that to help cut its cost. Over the past 2 years, because they're losing so much money, they've actually fired about 40% of their employees. So please, whatever you do, do not take out a loan to buy your Taco Bell, but let me know, have you heard of some people using this?
So not only are most of their customers not doing well, they're not doing well themselves. Who would have thought? I have heard conflicting information. I know they were trying to go through that IPO and they have said that this is not actually them losing money. They're a very profitable business. And I think they're actually very profitable. I don't think they're going bankrupt. I've been hearing a whole bunch of stuff that Klarna is going bankrupt. They're going bankrupt. Maybe they are, maybe they're not. But guess what? There's more of them where that came from. There's Afterpay, other forms of buy now, pay later out there. And they're just infesting our world with predatory lending. As if we don't have enough already. There's already a bunch of predatory credit cards and payday loans. Here comes more, and there will be more in the future. This is why it's important for us to be financially literate, to control our consumption of items, and to be goal oriented. Just because a product is out there doesn't mean we have to take advantage of it. Financing everything to your eyeballs is not worth it. Wealth is built when you don't have payments anymore. When you don't have a car payment, that car payment can go towards something else. When you don't have student loan payments, that student loan payment can go towards something else. When you don't have credit card payments, that credit card payments can go towards something else. And all this something else is investing. Even mortgage, your real wealth comes after you've purchased the house, after you've paid off the house, and you no longer have those payments. You will have property taxes and utilities, because people like to shove that in your face. Well, you never quite own your house because you have property taxes and utilities. Of course you do. Will you want to pay an extra $2,000 on top of that? Now they don't have to pay it. That money can go towards building more wealth. So with that being said, I'm bringing this video to an end. Thank you all so much. I enjoyed this video a lot. Let me know what you think about Klarna's partnership with DoorDash in the comments section. Are you a fan of Afterpay, Klarna, and all of these buy now, pay later apps? Or are you a non-user and a non-participant like I am? I look forward to hearing your comments. Thank you all again. I hope you had fun. Come back this Wednesday for a delicious recipe that will not cost you $75 on DoorDash. You can go to the grocery store, purchase all the ingredients for a very affordable amount, and prep your own food. And as always, I'll see you in my next video. Bye.